What's up, everybody?
Theme song is everything.
Yes. The theme song gets the party started. We are the BOP, the BLERD official podcast. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our first live in a long time. We are so excited. Yes, we are so excited that you are here. Hilton George, how you doing?
Oh, I'm living. I'm telling you right now, I'm so happy to be in the summertime and loving this lovely weather and getting to see y'all, back here in our lovely boxes since we've been traveling the world and going all over the place. I ain't seen y'all since MomoCon. And here we are.
I know. Here we are. Here we are. Christi Renee, how are you doing, my dear? Beyonce's little sister.
Hello. Well, I'm probably big sister, but however, I'll take it. I will take it. I am great. Hilton, I don't know where the lovely weather is because we in a heat wave down here down south in the Texas area. It's a ridiculous.
It is.
Hilton, by the way, that's the plural of ridiculous is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculi.
Mr. Pluralization himself.
It is crazy
down here. It's hot everywhere. LA, it was 105 degrees yesterday. And I'm like, I'm living in LA for a reason. Like, I didn't sign up for Phoenix, Arizona. I didn't sign up for Vegas. I signed up for Los Angeles. And it's crazy.
Yeah. They call it a heat storm. It's like 100 degrees, just going all down, and then down to the south. It's so hot. I saw Superman in the cab. It's hot. I'm telling y'all.
Superman was getting a ride to save the world.
Uber. The AC on, the windows up. Talking it's too hot to be flying around here.
Yeah.
And the inflation is so bad. He was in an economy Uber at that.
Right, he was an Uber share. He was in the Uber share. They came and picked me up too.
Hey, a limo by any other name.
Oh, you know what is so funny though, because of gas prices and because of the craziness of this world, Uber had taken off that Uber share where people weren't able to share their rides, but now they put it back on so that people could get lower priced Ubers. And so, they're trying to make a way, guys. We're trying to make a way in this crazy world. Beyonce said, "You won't take my soul," and I believe her because it's like, man, that song is so timely right now. There is so much craziness in this world, like literally crazy. I've gotten to where I don't even watch the news anymore because I can't take it.
You got
them people.
Yeah. It's tripping. Literally, we went back 50 years. We didn't need the DeLorean. We didn't need a time machine. The Supreme Court took us all the way back to rights that our mothers fought for. We literally, if you were under a rock, if you didn't know, Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade was overturned. It is not what the people want. The majority of the people, are upset. People are marching. People are, it's crazy. And you know what? I've been in a lot of arguments this week, which is shocking to me because people literally think of it as, people are killing babies and they shouldn't be promiscuous. And I'm like, are you that dumb? It's so, I had a niece that had an ectopic pregnancy. She literally almost died. She had to have 3 blood transfusions. And it was what basically happened was, and this happened 5 or 6 years ago. She was at work. It was early stages. She might have only been 2 or 3 weeks pregnant. She didn't even know that she was pregnant. There was no sign of it, It was too early for her to tell, and it was an ectopic pregnancy. And she literally had internal bleeding. That's where the egg gets stuck in the fallopian tube. So it hasn't fully transferred down to the uterus to where it grows, but it got stuck and it basically ruptured. And she, within minutes, was normal at work to where she passed out. And luckily, her coworkers called, 911. They figured it out quickly, but she had to have 3 blood transfusion. This was something that and the only thing that you can do when you have something like this happens is an abortion has to be, this is a special OBGYN that comes in and has to basically go in and fix you. So these are the things that are, if you look at certain states, there's no exception. So let's say this would have happened today. She lives in Texas. There would be no exception. She would have just bled out and potentially died. These are the things that are being taken away. It's not just your routine abortion. There are so many women's health care situations where women are dying. Before Roe v. Wade, they died of sepsis. They died of birth defects. They died of, people would have kids and they knew their child would be dead within moments of those children being born, but they legally could not abort the baby. There are just so many things that could go wrong in childbirth, and it's just shocking. And I think it was a rude awakening for women of all color to realize that the men that run this country think of you as second-class citizens, and they're willing to do anything to rip away your rights. And if you think this is the first thing, this is only the first of many things. But what were your thoughts? We're going to talk about Stranger Things, but we got to talk about some of this important stuff too, since we're live. Hilton, what was your thought? You live in DC. You live in the Mecca of where it's all at, man.
Listen, this is where all the craziness happens. It's happening all over the country, but it becomes law here. And, these discussions have been going on for decades, actually. And the problem is that you have this imbalance of men making decisions about women's bodies. It's just that simple. It's not that much more complicated than that. There are more things at stake here than, just healthcare. This is about body autonomy, and if you can control somebody's body and reproductive rights, then you can control a person. If you are forcing people to have children that they do not want, cannot afford, or might have, medical issues, then you can control an entire economy. You can control people. And that is why this isn't just about abortion. You heard Clarence Thomas say, he said, we should look at, these other decisions about gay marriage. We should also look at these other decisions about, same-sex unions and things like that. There's so many other things that are in play here, and it's
Brown versus the Board of Education. He wants to. They want to overturn everything.
Things are in play here now because they were considered to be canon. They were considered to be settled law, and I think a lot of people, not the people in this room, because we've talked about this before, but there's a lot of people who thought that no, I can vote on other stuff because they'll never overturn Roe v. Wade. So now I can vote on economics, and maybe I can vote for this one Republican I like, or I can vote for this one independent who's not going to caucus with the Democrats or whatever. And now that issue is front and center. Now you got single issue voters on the other side of the aisle, and that's unfortunate because this didn't have to be this way. There are other issues that people should be able to factor in other than body autonomy. I mean, that's just crazy to me, and it's crazy to 70% of the electorate. But we don't live in a majority rule country, and that's why we end up in these types of situations.
Crazy. So it's ridiculous to me that a man who did not win the popular vote became president, and he was able to elect or able to get 3 justices and sway the jury.
3.
It's crazy to me that 6 people have changed the course of so many lives in 22 states. 6 people should not be deciding what 22 states in the United States is going to do. It's shocking. And I'm pissed about it. Beyond pissed. Christi, you got on your Gilead hat, so I already know how you feel, but let the world know.
Praise be, sister. Praise be.
Thank you. Yes. Blessed be the Fruit Loops. It's a mess. First, let me say what's up to Miss Vicky. She's one of our YouTube boppers. I gotta say,
yes, Miss Vicky, Jeffrey Emmett, Jeremiah, all of you, Manny. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Great people here. Yes, Jeffrey, I have on my bonnet, honey. I stay close to my bonnet and ready. Let me take a sip because
Yeah, she got the liquor out today, guys.
See,
I do.
She
listen.
I had
is
to make
drinking
this
a real
Look,
content.
I
drink.
poured her some of this. You see how low it is.
Oh,
You
it's
see how
gin.
that
I'm
went to her.
drinking gin too. I'm drinking gin too. Oh my
You
Ooh,
got
I
to
God.
can't.
sometimes.
Ooh, gin make you sin. I can't drink no gin.
No, that's
I'm a tequila girl personally, but that's a
tequila.
whole nother. Yeah,
Tequila too
tequila.
much. Tequila. Yes, that's exactly. Look, and my wait a minute. Why my bonnet got a little pimp slide to it? So listen, this is a mess. It's so many things wrong with everything that's going on right now. Um, what I'm furious about is, well, first of all, you've got these trigger states, right? So Texas is one of them. However, as of 5:06 p.m. today, um, a Supreme Court here for just about 60 days. That's all we've got. There was an appeal
It's
that was
okay.
made. Now, it's not for everywhere. I mean, there's like McKinney, there's a couple of clinics that can actually continue, they can resume performing abortions and the rest of their services. However, it is that's not going to probably uphold beyond the 60-day window that they've just been granted. Um, Here's a problem that we're really up against. Again, everything that's going on. I mean, if anybody is not watching the January 6th committee hearings, first of all, it took too damn long for that to even come down. But I know it's a lot of work that goes into it. So I understand the whole
A
legal
lot of
process.
investigating, a lot of yeah.
Yes, a lot of depositions, but that dang witness that came out today,
Woo!
they were just surprised. Listen, y'all, they were on break for the holiday. They called an emergency session on today, an emergency hearing on today to continue with this one particular surprise witness. Young lady Hutchinson is her last name, and she came in and just delivered all kinds of blows. Now, I say blows, but what are we gonna do about it? That's the
Right.
problem. If this mofo don't go to jail, like lock him up. Let's get this thing, we need to get this place back on track, whatever that means. However, I think we have completely derailed from any sense and sensibility. We've always had issues. This country was built on freaking issues.
Yeah.
The robbing and steal, everything that's gone on. Many of us know that. If you don't know, oh Lord, I'm a pray for you, but you can Google it because I know it's out there in the universe. However, what we're up against now in the midterms is not just this issue, but this opens up a huge portal for shit to go really wrong if we do not get light the fire under our leaders who are again about the whole of society and freedom and rights, individual like bodily autonomy. Stop making these things. You know why these GOPers, they make this thing so sexual, is because that's their thing. Sorry, but it is. That's what Gilead is based on. They've got these rules and laws just for certain people that they want to control, and then they get to go off and do anything they want to do at Jezebel's. Well, that's how we're literally living right now. And so Democrats and the like need to
Independence,
really,
whoever you are, you need to
whoever
be.
you are,
We
but we
need
have
to
to come
be.
on the same page. We got
Yeah.
and not only on the same page, but we need to now seriously start fighting back. We're
Yeah.
too passive. We're too
We're
passive.
playing. They're playing chess, and we're playing Candyland. We
We're
need
playing
to
Candyland.
realize that we're up
We're
against the
playing
fight
kitty
of our
cat.
life. Yeah,
What are we
this
doing?
is. Yeah, this is the fight of our life, and I think this is just the start. So I agree with everything you're saying. Guys, if you are not registered to vote, if you are not, you no, that's rule number one.
Stop
Don't watch the
lying.
BOP. Don't
Yeah.
don't email me. I love you, Karan Ashley, because this is the thing. If you are a real fan of Power Rangers fought for injustice. We fought for the underdog. We fought
That
for
part.
every kid in order for
That,
them to be seen. This show was about had a multicultural cast, so every kid was seen. So you need to go register to vote because we need to fight. We need to do all that we can to try and change things. It's not a matter of talking about it. It's about being about it. And we are the voice. We're the ones that can change it. We've had to fight for everything we've had up until this point. So
yeah.
please go register to vote. This is going to be a fun show, but we can't,
Yeah.
We cannot
We gotta,
and then
we gotta acknowledge.
yes, we've got to acknowledge. And the second thing you need to do is you need to watch the hearings that are going on, the January 6th hearings, because you need to know what happened that day and the events that led up to that day. That day didn't just happen. That was a strategically planned attack on democracy. And if you believe in this country, then you should believe in democracy, and you need to know what happened and how it was attacked. So I got two things for you to go register to vote and watch this hearing so that you understand what's happening in the world. And then after that, we are counting down to the Stranger Things finale. Oh my gosh, guys. Season 4.
That was a hell of a pivot, by the way.
It was, right? Because you know what? This is the thing, though. We've got to, I've literally been hiding in these worlds of imagination.
Yeah.
I've used Obi-Wan. I've used Miss Marvel. I'm using Stranger Things. I literally, because it's like this world right now is so hard to take. But you know, when you've got,
Karen, just imagine the picture in our minds here that in order to go into something lighter and something more cheerful, we have to go from our reality to Stranger Things and Vecna, who is murdering people. We got to go into a horror movie to relax and calm down from where we at on our day to day. Where is the world? What is
I know. What is the world? A horror series that killed children. Yes. I know. And that's the crazy thing about it. It's like, because at least I know that was produced. People are in costume. Someone said cut. And these people went on, they hugged each other after each scene, you know. At least I know where there have been no cuts. I'm just saying, Uvalde, the people that died in San Antonio a couple days ago, yesterday.
All of
all of it has just been terrible. Yeah, I would love for someone to go, scene, and we were just playing. That's all a hoax. It wasn't a hoax, unfortunately.
No.
But like I said, the lighter note today is Stranger Things, and I've been a huge fan since episode 1, season 1, and season 4 delivered in spades. I love season 4 as much as I love season 1, and that's it really did something for me. It is high praise. That was, Christy can tell you. Okay, so then let me paint the scene.
I felt like Nick Cage. That's high praise, my friend.
Let me paint the scene. We're at MomoCon about a month ago, right? And Stranger Things is coming out. And Stranger Things premiered that Friday of MomoCon. And if you know MomoCon starts on Thursday. It's a 4-day show. It's a long one. So we work all day at the con. All day. I think we went out to dinner with you. And then we make our way to the hotel. We literally, were so exhausted. And we sat there like we were doing geometry, counting the hours. That if we watched Stranger Things episode 1, how many hours we would sleep. And we realized if we watched it, because the episodes are longer in season 4, we'd only have 5 hours of sleep. It was worth it. It was worth it. We watched it on my little laptop.
But this one, though, with her scary self.
I'm the scariest superhero you'll ever meet.
After we were done, now we're curled up
we're in the bed together watching it.
And this one decides after it's done. First of all, I said her name and she screams like I scared her on purpose. Girl,
she said her name and she touched me, and so it was like Vecna had reached out to me. I had just watched Chrissy die in the first episode, so I felt Vecna's arm, and I was like, ah! I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Classic horror.
And then after it was done, though, Hilton, the worst part, the funniest part is after it was over, I go into my bed to go try to catch some Z's before we have to get up and do a full day. And this one is, I gotta watch some cartoons. I gotta watch
I
something
gotta do
like,
something.
you had to watch. What did you put on? I forgot what you put
I had
on.
to
Oh,
watch
Downton
like
Abbey. Downton
Downton
Abbey.
Abbey. I had to watch Downton Abbey to decompress
I was
from
like, good
from
night,
because
child.
I'm not a horror film watcher. I don't like horror, so it hits me a different way. And I was like, okay, I
You
might
can't
have
be
a nightmare
watching it at
tonight.
night, out of town, and alone in a hotel
You
room.
ain't
Well, she
alone.
was
And
with
have to
me.
have nightmares, especially with a
Wait,
stomach full of barbecue.
and y'all need to
You know it's
understand.
going.
Listen,
Right. You gotta-
and y'all, Karen Ashley, let me tell you. First of all, this room it was a suite, so the bedroom had a door, and she locks the
I
door to
locked the
go to
bedroom
sleep.
door because I was like, okay. She was in her bed. I was in my bed, and I was like, okay, there's a whole suite outside. This hotel room is way too big. So I locked the door, locked us in the bedroom. She's lucky I didn't sleep with the lights on because I will do that or sleep with the TV running so that I can hear, like, I always like, if somebody they break in here, I can see you.
Drama.
I'm a karate chop their ass. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have a plan. Guys, it was that good. Like, it was classic horror. It shook me to the bone when Chrissy, the cheerleader, died. I mean, I knew we were in for something good with season 4,
Yeah,
but I didn't realize it was this good. What
some of
was your
them.
first impression, Hilton? Because you like, we've all loved
Well,
Stranger Things. What
okay,
was your
so
first impression?
first of all, I didn't get to see it as early as y'all did because my Netflix didn't work in the hotel room I was in, so I had to wait. So
Dang it.
I didn't get to watch it in real time,
Oh,
but I got to binge it once I got home. And you know, a lot of horror stories, a lot of horror series, they kind of lose some of their punch once you get
Right.
familiar with the characters and the haunted town and all the different
Yeah.
stories. And you kind of have this little Clue Club, Goonies type of
Yeah.
dynamic that they were kind of that they've continued on till now, even though everybody's a little bit older. And you're
Mhm.
like, oh, you would expect things to kind of calm down. Like, okay, we've seen some really scary stuff over 3 seasons. This is going to be something that we can know what to expect. Wrong. No, I tell you, it didn't happen that way. You turn this thing on, and everything is just like season 1. It's all fresh. All the characters, they're going through new stuff. So even though we know them, we're still trying to get to know them because they've
They're
been
at
gone
different
for 2,
stages.
3,
Yeah.
4 years. Different stages, different cities, different towns.
Oh,
My man is locked up in a prison in Siberia. It's like
right.
you're really, and this is before the horror stuff. This is just us figuring out where everybody is and stuff is walking around. And sure enough, when my girl came into the trailer and broke up, like she folded up like homework. Like my man, I was like, oh
Oh,
Lord. And so
yeah.
you're watching this amazing dynamic of what I love most about the show is the geek culture references to
yep,
Dungeons and Dragons and
yes.
things like that because I'm a Dungeons and Dragons
These
head and I
kids are
love that about
us.
the kids, right?
Yeah. All the kids, you can relate to
So
them because they're
the
us. They're
Hellfire
the
Club
nerds. Yeah.
and playing those games and having like the
Yes.
big dungeon, like this big module that you're going to finish up, that is all legit and real. And everybody who's a D&D head knows it. So I
Yeah.
really love that homage and sticking to it, even though these
Yep.
were older kids and saying this nerd stuff is not something that they grew out of. It's something that they bought into. It's part of who they
Yeah.
are. And the horror of this is just so amazing from the
So
score,
good.
the
Yes.
cinematography,
The 80s
the
songs to
and how do you make the 80s song scary? Journey,
right.
Separate Ways is now a horror theme. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Like, what is going on? And you see the story unfold, and and it's actually a very, very well told horror story,
Well
standalone.
written
Like, just
story.
you got my man Christopher England in it from Friday,
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Hmm.
Nightmare on Elm Street has got a little role in it, and that's a brilliant homage. You got
Yep.
a little bit of Silence of the Lambs going on with the
Yep.
Asylum, yeah, and of course all of the homage to Stephen King
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick
Carrie,
and
like everything.
Carrie. This
Yeah.
is all there, and so you fall right into it in the exact same way as you did in season 1, 2, and 3. And that's what
Yes.
makes it so brilliant, even though we know this is the last season. And even though we know everybody's like 28 years old. And, you're not
No,
28, but
the
you know what I
second
mean.
it's
You're getting
it's
it.
almost the last season. This is the start to the end. We still got a
Right. They
final
split the
season.
season
Yeah.
into 2 parts. But I
Yeah.
mean, up until now, just this world building has been something that they have been able to go back to time and time and time again. Movies have not enjoyed this type of run on a world built TV series have not enjoyed this kind of run on a world build. So if you were thinking, I'm talking to you, the audience, and everybody here in the chat, if you haven't seen it, man, it is every bit as scary as they're saying.
Go see it.
But make sure you
Turn on
see
your
it.
Netflix. Yes.
Turn it
And
on.
I will tell you this.
Yes.
Okay, so the 4th season, we're going to get July 1st. Countdown to Friday. We're going to get the last 2 episodes of the 4th season. And there will be a 5th and final season probably in a year or so. But this is the start to the end. And you were so right, Hilton, when you said, like, they've reinvented this wheel every single season. It kudos to the Duffel brothers, because they're the ones writing this. And I mean to tell you, I didn't think it'd get bigger than the Mind Flayer. Like, first it was, the Demogorgon, then it was the Mind Flayer, and then it was, and then it was like the whole Mind Flayer army, and then it was, I just didn't think it would get any bigger. But having Vecna and having, oh man, it was crazy. Christi, you were with me, so I know how you felt about it, but
I just picture y'all huddled up together, swaddled in that extra blanket that they keep at the top of the closet. You pull that down, and y'all.
It was exactly that way, because we only had my laptop, and so the laptop is sitting on the ironing board. Okay, the ironing board is in the middle, because we got a suite. So the suite had two beds, 2 double beds, or 2 queen beds, whatever it is. And then there's like a living room, a whole nother part of it. But we're in the bedroom portion, and we had the ironing board in the middle of the 2 beds. And when she gets into my bed, and we like rigged up the laptop so we could lay in bed and watch it. Oh my God, it was everything. We just needed popcorn.
That was like the second night, but the first night, Hilton, she was nestled in my bosom, just mortified.
I was so scared. I don't do well with horror. I don't.
Yeah, it was.
I have nightmares when I watch The Sixth Sense. So think about that. So now that I'm watching like a show that actually has horror references, I'm scared out my mind, right? But I have to do it because I love Stranger Things. Christi, what was your reaction?
So now this is one that y'all know. Sometimes your girl Christi Renee struggles with seeing things immediately, but this is one I've been watching Stranger Things since it first came out, fell in love with it, and I've always raced to watch every season. I was like, oh my God, it's taking so long to come out, but I understand with the pandemic, but I loved, I understood the reason why so much time had passed, and they had to take that time in the first episode to explain some things, I guess, because I think I said something to you, Karen, where I was like, "Ooh, child, let's get to it. I'm ready for the action," because the first episode is literally like a catch-up, and just to show you where everybody is, and
it does a good job of putting that in the first episode.
It does, and it sometimes got a little extra, but again, it's not a knock. That's not anything negative against them. I just was like, oh my God, I'm so ready for the excitement. Just because I was eager, I was anxious, but oh my God, by the time I made it back home and caught up on the rest, I have been I'm literally scratching at the like a
Friday can't get here soon enough. I was like, can Netflix please give us a present? Like, give it to us Thursday. Give it to us, give it to us earlier. Because I like 3 days is a long time if I'm having to wait.
I fully enjoyed just the way everything developed. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, and please don't think I'm crazy.
You're crazy, but go ahead.
I know. But I followed the kid who plays Vecna.
Oh, he's so good, the actor.
But it wasn't until I saw an IG post that he did where it's the makeup, his whole process in
the time lapse. Yeah.
The time lapse. And wait a minute, that was my first time realizing who it was. That it was in the asylum. I was like, oh hell, I don't think I knew that was him.
Did you miss an episode? Episode 6?
I think my issue is I think I really do get into so many elements or aspects of when I'm watching a show that I just absolutely love, and I love camera angles because I want to direct and I film, and so it's like I'm looking at so many other things. I swear I missed it. I was like, oh my God, I got to go back, and I watched it
twice already.
Right. I literally went back and started scanning. I skipped the first episode, but I went back and I was like, let me figure out and I remember I saw where I blinked, and I
Well,
just
Yeah.
that's the brilliance of this particular story that I think is what makes it so worthy as a fourth season opener, is that you drop people in the middle of the horror first, and then
Yes.
they start unraveling the mystery after the horror is upon you.
yeah,
Usually horror movies will give you a mystery and then you stumble into the horror on your way to solving the mystery. Like,
Yeah.
oh, somebody was missing in this town, we got to go find the mine that they fell into,
Hmm.
and oh, this is the thing that killed them and now we're in danger, right? This
Yeah.
starts with the danger and they got to mystery their way out of it in real
yeah.
time while they're under threat. And so when
Yes.
you're watching how they're telling the story, and we're spoiling, but that's okay because
We're
you guys
totally
already watched it.
spoiling. So
Oh,
just, you
You
guys,
watch
it
this
is what it
guy
is.
tell the story of his family being killed and the legend of this guy. You're
yep.
discovering him, and then you're discovering that he's alive, and then you go and you talk to him, and then you find out, yes, he's crazy, but he tells you the story, and the
Victor
story
Creel.
illustrates it, right?
Real.
Victor Creel, and then you find out about number one. You're like, oh, we know 11, but wait, there must be a one. But everyone's talking about who's number one. Oh, I heard a number one. He's a mystery, blah, blah, blah. And we find out that number one ended up being Vecna, who is also the son of the person who was
The Victor Creel
who's actually
son.
telling. And it's like, wow, just
Oh,
weaving all of that
Oh,
together in such a way that strings you all the way to the last second of the last episode. Just
oh,
blows my mind how
can
they
I
did it.
just
crazy.
jump in?
Crazy.
I have an obsession. I'm such a weirdo. I have an obsession with connecting or finding other actors and roles and stuff that I love. So Victor Creel, which I loved, I was like, oh my God, he's from Ozark. He's the motel manager in Ozark, and he just does a fabulous job. But the little kid that plays young Vecna, the actors alone, I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like, y'all
It's
just, they
the
nail it.
casting. The
Nail it.
casting is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been ridiculous since season one when they found a little girl, Millie Bobby Brown, to be 11, and when they found Will Byers and they found, all of the kids, like the
Yeah.
kids and I mean, every single person down to whoever's running the local store, it's always right on point. And I mean, one thing I will say, if you haven't watched it, go watch it because the last 2 episodes are coming out this Friday. But just to kind of give you a summarization. So the last time we saw 11 and all her friends, 11 had lost her powers. This is when they battled the shadow monster, and he had, the monster had basically cut her leg. Remember, he got his animal or his whatever it was, it latched onto her leg, and she could not, her powers were useless. And Billy, who was Max's brother, he ended up sacrificing himself so that they could, save 11, and he basically saved the day. But long story short, we are landed right back in the 80s. 11 doesn't have her powers. Will and Will's family, they've all moved to California.
Yeah.
And the Hawkins kids are still there, but it's like everyone is not the same, like Hilton had said. They're still dealing with the aftermath of losing their friends. They're dealing with the aftermath of what happened at the mall in season 3. They're dealing with, you find 11 in high school and she's being bullied, and she doesn't, she's making up stories because she doesn't really want to face the fact that she doesn't fit in. She is different. And it's really timely because it's like every character is kind of going through something. They did not get out of the season 3 unscathed. And like Hilton said earlier, our favorite cop, Hopper, is in a Russian prison. And he's alive. He's alive. So then you jump
and by the way, he's bad at escaping from prison. Like, he gets caught twice. Like, dude, like, where is this great escape gonna happen? He keeps getting busted. Like,
right. It's and you have Crazy Joyce, who gets a clue that basically lets her know that Hopper is alive. And so her and Murray get on a plane and go to Alaska. Murray is one of our favorite characters.
My hands are like arrows.
My hands are like arrows. And Murray knows karate. The show is so amazing. But again, you realize that the Upside Down is still killing people, and there's something lurking. And as you go through the story, you find out that there is a new version of the Upside Down, which is Vecna. And Vecna is the scariest looking character. His skin is not there. It's like he's part human, part upside down, part like burn victim. I don't know what. It's just all bad.
Yeah.
But they basically, that's where you pick up on the story, where we start figuring out how they're going to defeat Vecna, because they know Vecna is coming, and he's coming for 11. But one thing I really loved, and one thing that they do so well, is they always take someone we care about and they torture the shit out of them. Season 1, they took little Will Byers and they tortured the hell out of him. And, I mean, everyone was like, where's Will? And you really go on this journey with these kids. And this year, Max is, she's possessed by Vecna. And she knows that in a matter of a couple of days, she is going to, she's going to die, because what happened to Chrissy and what happened to this other kid that went to their high school is they started having headaches, and then they started having nosebleeds, and then they started seeing visions, and then they started having nightmares, and within a matter of a week, they're basically dead, and he takes their body and they like get, he sucks their eyes out, and it's a horrible, horrible death. And Max, like the scene where she is reading the letter to Billy in the cemetery, and is like, just dealing with the trauma of losing her brother and basically losing her whole family, because her whole life was uprooted once he died. And all of a sudden she's possessed by Vecna. Oh my God, guys, I lost it. Like, let me just tell you this. We watched the first 2 episodes in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a 4-hour flight, and you guys know how expensive it is to get online, to get internet on an airplane. I paid the fee.
Level. Streaming level. Yeah,
I paid whatever it was, that $50. I paid it, and I watched season 3, 4, 5, and part of 6 just because I could not wait. I watched it on my way home.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. I don't want my meal. I don't want no drinks. I just need Stranger Things. Like, I literally, I literally watched Stranger Things from Atlanta all the way to LA, and then I waited a day and watched the last 2. But I watched it within days, within 48 hours of it coming out. I'd already seen the whole thing.
If you guys are, the thing I really, that struck me when the series first came out was the homage to Stephen King.
Yeah.
If you look at movies, and we talked about this in other episodes, we talk about movies like Stand By Me, and we talk about The Stand, and we talk about Dreamcatcher, where everyone has to come together, childhood friends have to come together to fight a singular enemy, even though they don't have powers and they don't really know what the hell they're doing. The love and the trust and the loyalty that exists within the group somehow manages to be, what is necessary to defeat the enemy. And all of these are kind of in that same genre. And God bless the Duffer Brothers, but they are paying, all just gross homage to that.
Yes.
And that formula works so well. And they're not afraid to take that approach and say, listen, we are the descendants of amazing horror storytellers, and we are going to bring everything we love and learned about horror from our masters, and we're going to put it into our work, and we are not going to sugarcoat it or try to polish it so it doesn't look like it's theirs, and it's just going to be super blatant. And we as the audience have gone along for the ride. We're just like, yes, take us to this next level.
I got a front row seat. Please take me.
And the thing is that none of these series, seasons work if we didn't care about the characters.
Oh, exactly.
And you've talked to me about this. Most kids in horror movies and action movies piss me the hell off, because they usually are somehow the reason for the problem.
It gets
that adults
worse.
Have to come in and get killed to solve in some way. Are they dragging their feet? Are they caught up in their feelings? Or whatever it is. So I got issues with a lot of kids in horror, but this is the one where the kids have got it. The kids are figuring it out. They're keeping each other in line. They are funny. They give a damn about each other. They're fearless.
They know
I wouldn't have done
things.
nothing living in that town. I'd have been like, I'm not going nowhere with nobody.
Right.
Long as people getting broken off and snapped apart, I'm staying in the house. I'm doing
I'm
online.
good.
Yeah, it's 1980. I'm going to school online. How about that?
Right.
In 1980, because
You know
this ain't
what?
happening.
You know
So
what? You know what's interesting though? Just mentioning what you just said, Hilton, is that but the last episode, I want to say it was the last episode or second to last, was finally an opportunity for parents. Like the parents were made part of something. And it was very fascinating because they're tying in a lot of things here. You got a lot going on where, now the parents are in uproar, the little town meeting, and who did this to this kid. You got that one damn leader of the captain of the basketball team with his speeches. Boy, if you don't sit down somewhere, he was I was like,
no,
sir.
what little kid grabbing a mic from grown folk? Like
He always, and it was like he had this grandstanding moment, but he represents a the leader of the mob, that
yeah,
mob
Yeah.
mentality, and the way they set out to go do it's so like the damn. I mean, all they needed was khakis and pitchforks and torches.
Uh,
That's literally what they represented. So I do appreciate that they not only are they so true to that era, but they are also saying, well, listen, this is not new. What we're dealing with in 2022,
mm-hmm.
it has been the history of this global experience that mob mentalities exist. And so they put that in there. But the
Yeah.
parents, finally, we never really deal with, I mean, we had that one season when when what's her name's the mama, honey, and Billy, and she had this fantasy in her mind they was gonna have an
Oh
affair.
yeah.
But
Oh
that was
yeah.
yeah.
it was
Mike
not
Wheeler's mom. Mike Wheeler's mom is like the hottest mom, and you're right.
serious.
Like one thing I will say,
Stifler's
they've
mom.
always
Stifler's mom.
right.
Yeah.
She's always cared about her kids, and she
Yes.
does always every season have a moment with them where she encourages them to be fearless and encourages them to be. But you're right. The parents are usually oblivious to what the children are
Right.
doing, and they're gone for days. And the only mom who's really on the road with them was Winona Ryder, who was Joyce Byers
That's
and
it.
Hopper. Joyce
Yes.
Byers and Hopper understood the assignment and said,
They
okay,
did.
kids,
From
let's
day
do it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like the other thing that I love about this series so much is that, yeah, we love the core cast. And I mean, from season 1, episode 1, they made us fall in love with them like immensely. Like, I've loved the core cast. But we have all these other breakout actors who are just. Like, we talked about Murray, Brett Gelman. Murray, that character is funny, but he is on point. He is honest. He is just the funniest thing. He's like, you guys like risotto? Like the lines that he
He's so goofy that he could have been a Jar Jar Binks for this series. But he
Yes.
actually knows karate and he actually speaks Russian and he's actually good at
A
spycraft
really good
and
actor.
has a plan. Like, okay, you look like me. If I shave myself, we can switch places and we can break into this place. But so him being so zany while not being incompetent makes us enjoy him
Oh my
even
gosh.
more.
Well,
I
he
was
was
like,
the town conspirator. Remember when we first were
right.
introduced to him with season
Yep.
2? He was the town conspirator. He knew something had happened in Hawkins and they were covering it up. So the fact that they stuck with this character and he's grown to where now he is literally like watching the Demogorgon fight the prisoners at the Russian jail.
And taking notes.
Yes, another character that we love to hate, Dr. Brenner, who was Papa. Papa is not dead. Papa is back, and I
Matthew
mean,
Modine.
He's gonna
Yes.
be smart. I think he's
Matthew
gonna be
Modine.
yeah, he's phenomenal, but I think something's gonna happen. I feel like there's a twist coming with him.
Papa is gonna do something, and I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface on who this
Right.
man is and how he knows so much. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Vecna was number 1, he was number 00. like I would
On
not be
himself.
surprised. Yeah, I would not be surprised if he.
I want to say this to that, Karen. I think that my prediction, I feel like
Yes, what's your prediction?
He's going to, with this particular character, I feel like he's going to surprise us all, because we've pitted him at the center of all of this madness of these kids and them living, but at least when he was in control, they were alive, right? And now they're not. So except for 11. And now Vecna, of course. But
well, and also you forgot about Callie. Callie from season 2. She's out there somewhere. She was in Philadelphia. She was the one. She was she number 8, or she was one of them? I forget what number.
Yeah,
she was. Yeah, Callie had escaped before Vecna had, because Vecna even said, he goes, "This is when Callie was still here." He talks about her in this season. Yeah,
and well, what's going to happen with him?
Yeah, I really think like we're gonna be thrown upside down when we find out really what Papa's story is, because you're right, like all this time we thought he was the super bad guy, but little did we know he was doing things to help them, and he was controlling. He was controlling Vecna. Well, we keep talking about Vecna, but the gentleman who plays that character, Jamie Campbell Bower, he is an amazing actor. Like, I can't get enough of him. But the other character that I couldn't get enough of is Eddie Munson. Eddie, who's the leader of the Hellfire Club.
Eddie,
breakout superstar.
Joseph Quinn, breakout actor.
Great value, Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
Like, great value.
Oh, he better.
1B in the Eddie Van Halen. Am I lying? No. You look at
he plays guitar. He's a guitarist. It's an Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. He's
so good.
Breakout star that everybody immediately loved, and I saw all the blogs and all the comments and all the threads about this guy, because everybody, to one degree or another, knows some dude like that was over the top across the board. I know I did.
Yeah.
He just happened to be a dungeon master, which was kind of weird because he's had this rock and roll personality, and then, it kind of moved over and placed it in this, like, he's crazy.
The leader of the nerds.
The leader of the nerds is actually cool and dangerous and crazy and edgy. And I'm just like, okay, I'm enjoying watching this guy within the context of being a nerd, and then watching him square off with my man's sister. What's her name? Right off the bat.
Priya Ferguson. Erica St. Clair. You can't say America without Erica.
Right. Just watching them go at it. Like, she's what in the story? She's like 9 or something like that.
Again, another character that was a breakout character that they were like, Erica can go nowhere. Well, it's funny because they were talking about that in season 3, I think it was, or season 2, where she first came on, and she was only supposed to work like 2 days and be Lucas's little boring, like, little pesty sister. And she was like, "You look stupid. You look dumb, nerd." And they like said that this kid was so amazing that next season, season 3, she was a series regular. Like, they we got to keep her. Her and Maya Hawke, who plays Robin. Robin is another one of those characters where Robin has stole my heart.
I love her. She's hysterical. That whole talking around everything, the sarcasm, she's just all over the place, but she makes perfect sense to me.
In this world.
I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
They've done it.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game. What do we think is going to happen in these last 2 episodes? Now, I will say this: the Duffel brothers have gone on record. I don't know if it's going to happen this season, but they've said in season 5 there are going to be some huge losses, and so that means some of the characters we love they're going to die. It's going to be, this is the start to the end, and it's going to be tragic. They're going to say it's going to be what they have planned for season 5 is it's going to be equally as heroic and amazing, but equally as tragic. Like, we are not going to be the same. By the time this thing ends, we're going to be heartbroken, and
I'm already mad.
Yeah.
I honestly cannot fathom. And this, I guess, is what I really love about the show, is that I get to a point like this. I'm X amount of episodes in with characters I know in a city and town that I know, and the style of the Duffer Brothers that I'm very familiar with now. And I cannot tell you with anything close to certainty what is going to happen in these next 2 episodes. It could literally go any way.
That's
we could easily say that this is going to be 11 versus number 1. I mean, that's the classic pitting that, you know, you roll the dice and that's going to happen in any type of movie. But I think that there's going to be a more of a collective effort. And I think that you're going to see something probably happen from your boy Matthew Modine, Papa, and the dynamic with his relationship to 11 play a role in how, you know, they deal with Vecna. I don't think, obviously, I don't think Vecna is going to die. I don't think they're going to defeat Vecna, but I think they're going to come to a plateau that is going to be achieved by somebody other than 11. That's my guess.
Oh, people think entertainment nerds says we're losing 11. I think eventually, I think that's the one thing I think I can predict, that she's going to sacrifice herself to save her friends. Like, she's always, her first priority from, you know, season 1 is always to protect them and help them. And I think that she understands the assignment. I don't know. Like, I'm like, so like, if I thought we were going to lose Max during this, I thought we were about to lose, what's his name? Gosh, I thought we were about to lose. God, I can't. Steve Harrington. I thought Steve was going to die at one point. I was like, if Steve dies, I'm dying right here. Like, you know, so.
He's a definite character development person. I mean, he literally has come from how grotesque he was in season 1. Well, really, episodes 1 through 3, and
where he ended up being the nice guy who you didn't think was a nice guy.
Yeah, he's gone on his hero's journey, and he's the relationship between he and my favorite
Lucas, not Lucas, Dustin.
Dustin. I was about to say the baby.
Yeah, those two are Laurel and Hardy.
They
spin-off show material. I mean, not that there could really be a spinoff for this, but I love watching them too. I think that they've got amazing chemistry.
Fantastic. And you can tell there's something so genuine about it too. Off-camera chemistry too.
Yeah. And when this episode cliffhangered, I mean, Nancy's under Vecna's spell, you know? We realize, like, he gets her right before she's leaving the Upside Down, and she's like seeing his whole story and understanding that he was Victor Creel's son and that he has this power. And we see, like, the big revelation is that he tricked 11 into taking whatever that microchip that was controlling his power, take that out, and he basically murdered everyone in that clinic except for her and except for Papa. And I think he thought Papa was dead, but he murdered everyone and murdered all the kids that had the power to defeat him, thinking that 11 would be someone that was going to go on with him and rule the world. And she was like, her little baby 11 was like, no. And she took it, like, she sent him to the Upside Down. And that's how this originally got started, you know?
An amazing closing of the loop on that whole 4-season storyline. Yeah. And can I just say that they have, and we haven't mentioned it here, but the special effects in this series are just so amazing. You know, just, I mean, and not just the grand special effects of the Upside Down and stuff, which are amazing. The practical effects,
everything.
But de-aging 11 and making her look just like when we met her.
Yes.
And in action and motion and
even younger.
Capturing the vulnerability, you know, and the performance and everything. And what you know this is a CGI character that you're watching. But it's so smooth that you don't even register that you're not looking at the real actress doing the performance. And it's such a, I think one of the things that's special about this show is that the special effects are not just there to wow and be noted by critics and people like us, but they're part of the story. You know, they are part of the storytelling device. Yeah. You know, they put these special effects in place to better tell the story. And it doesn't distract from the story for being too over the top or not being good enough, but it all fits in exactly where it needs to. Like that town isn't real, you know, the one that he comes over the hill in Siberia, and you know, things like the plane, you know, all of this stuff is like CGI to the hilt, but we're just so caught up in the story that we don't even see where the reality meets, you know, the CGI. So it's really great stuff happening, movie level.
Oh,
CGI in a
movie
Netflix series.
level.
Yes.
Like, well, one thing I will say, if you do not follow Stranger Things on Instagram, follow it because they have been posting some amazing like split screen so that you see what happens in the series and then they show you how it was shot and you
Right.
see how those special effects scenes actually were shot, how they took place, what they added. I mean, they're doing these long like 3-minute videos where Max was in when she was in Victor Creo's house in the Upside Down and he had her by the throat. You see how they shot it and just how
Amazing.
part of it was real life. Like they had real things and a real set and it was this amazing thing. But so much of it was created through special effects and through the stunt team. And I mean, it's amazing. I agree with you 100% on
one
that.
thing that is not CGI, and we can tell from everything we've seen, and it's amazing. Murray's karate.
Yeah.
His karate is
My hands
100%.
are arrows. My legs are lethal. Like Murray, but they even posted a video. He posted a video, or Stranger Things posted a video where he trained with a karate. Like they found out that he knew karate. Like he had studied karate for years, and they were like, "Oh, Murray's got to do karate." Like of course Murray would know karate. He would have learned karate,
Of course.
and they showed him, and he's like literally like, I mean, he really has some skill. It was amazing.
You said those hands
Amazing.
are free.
Yeah.
Give me 40,000 to get our boy back, but the hands you get from.
Oh, I love
Murray
everything about it. Okay, so if we had to have a favorite moment, we can't make any predictions. Did you try to predict something, Christy? Did you? Because Hilton said he couldn't predict anything.
Well, again, one of my main, I think because I'm so curious about this one particular character, which is Papa, I just feel like he's going to, and I feel like, they say some folks are going to die, right? But it's how they die, who they become before they die. And I feel like he's going to be an integral part in helping 11 to save, even if 11 is gone. But I feel like there's going to be some redemption with him. And hey, entertainment nerd. I think we're going to be surprised. I'm anticipating. If we're not, all right, fine.
I moved away from the notion that Papa is the big bad. Yeah, I moved away from that notion and realized that he's a complicated man, but he's not the bad guy here. He was actually trying to help them. You know what? I do have a prediction. I feel like Callie, who was in season 2, will come back at some point because there's no way they're just going to have someone who has this same power and was in this same clinic and she doesn't come to help or try to help 11. Like she tried it. Remember, she cried when 11 left her and she wanted, and 11 told her, I have to go help my friends. So I think Callie's going to realize that something's going on in Hawkins and she's going to say, I got to go help 11. Yeah. Entertainment Nerd said exactly how I feel. He said, if Dustin dies, I will riot.
I can't.
I can't. If Dustin,
we will stand for Dustin.
Oh, if Mike Wheeler, if these kids die, I will riot with you. I can't. Yeah. Oh my God, I can't.
But wait. So,
but
do we accept not the regular kids? Do we accept Elle though because she is different?
I just feel like
the savior Elle.
I just feel like she is one of those characters who she would die for her friends and she would die the hero, like she would, if it came down to her and Mike Wheeler living, she's going to fall on the sword.
But I think that because it's something that is almost expected of her, that's why I don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
Really
it's like the Duffer Brothers aren't going to give us anything for free.
They're not serving up no easy snacks across this counter. So as much as that tracks with everything we know about these characters, I really feel like the Duffer Brothers have got, they got an ace hidden in the bottom of this deck they about to throw at us. And we just gotta,
I was surprised that they let Hopper be alive because I thought Hopper sacrificing himself was right on par. Like it was right where it needed to be, and I was surprised. But I'm so glad he is, because I love Hopper and I love Joyce and I love that dynamic, and I need them to go on that date to End
I
Zone.
mean,
Like I want Hopper and
go
Joyce
on the
to
date.
ride off into the sunset. I'm not
Right.
gonna lie, I'm low key hoping that that Steve Harrington and Nancy ride off into the sunset also. Because I
They
just was
gotta do
like,
it.
oh yeah.
You know,
Okay, so go ahead, Christy.
no, I was just gonna say, you when you said Steve and Nancy, of course, I'm like, well, what
What
about
about
Jonathan?
Jonathan? I
But
think
and Jonathan,
Jonathan.
first of all, Jonathan looking old as hell. Am I the only one that feel like that baby look old?
Well, Jonathan is. They did, like, I read this article, I think it was yesterday. Jonathan's actually 30 years old. Like, he's playing an 18-year-old.
He look
But
like
that's
it.
what I did when I was, I played
Well,
15, 16 for 20 years. I know, black don't crack. I get it.
It's a jawline. The man got a jawline, and that's what changes that whole age up. You know, you just them city miles start kicking in, and you know you got to get the next.
Steve Harrington looks still young though. Like Steve is still looking young.
Jonathan needs some CGI.
Oh no, he needs some 11. He needs that 11 effect. Okay, so wait, before we watch the final, you guys know we're going to come back. We're going to give the whole 4th season a wrap up. We will do this again. We'll probably do it live. We can't make any predictions, but what was your favorite moment from season 4? I mean, I know there's many, but if you had to narrow it down to one.
I know mine. Can I please go first?
Yes, you go first. Okay, please go first.
Y'all know I'm
right. Get your Murray karate out. Okay, girl.
They come to see all my extra. All the extra. Let me tell y'all. My favorite freaking moment was when 11 bust that girl upside her face with that roller skate. Listen,
I don't condone violence, but I supported that decision.
I felt so bad for liking that scene. I said that child of God could have hurt somebody, because the base of them some old school skates too, with the metal trucks
are heavy.
Wow, you hit somebody dead in the face, you could have killed that poor girl. But I was like, I was doing the Chris Rock, like I ain't saying you should have done it, but I understand.
But I understand.
Stop it.
Oh no, I was so happy.
That girl had put her hands on 11 first. That girl had.
She had it coming.
She had it coming. And multiple times. Hell, the whole school year. Now we had some. You finna get it. You about to catch this.
See, 11 needed a black friend at that point, because like you could have got away with it. You could have been like WAP and be like, we got to get out of here, girl. Come on now. They don't have surveillance cameras yet. We got to go. We get away from the scene, and they'll be all hearsay after that.
Erica would have got her out of there. Erica would have scared the girl first off, and the girl would have never messed with 11 again.
No.
Then it wouldn't have even come to that, because Erica would have gave it to her. Lucas's little sister is the best. Okay, so Hilton, if you had to pick one moment, what was your favorite Stranger Things season 4 moment as of right now?
If you have not already guessed it, the unsung hero of the series, at least up until now, is Murray.
Yes.
And Murray's karate fight on the plane, just giving that dude all the work, and nobody saw it coming. Just think about the goofiest, corniest dude that you know, all of a sudden out of nowhere giving the Chang-Chi treatment to somebody. I mean, he hit him with the iron fist. He was rolling him, taking him out. I was like, dang, Murray. And I was
Murray did that.
I didn't know you had it in you. And for his character, as great as it has been over the previous series, this was his breakout episode, but this has been his breakout series. He's been able to be more off the wall than he has ever been.
Yes.
But he has also been more of a contributing character. He is a resource that is moving the plot forward.
Yes.
And to see them invest that time and energy in that character, I felt the writer's room erupting during that scene. And we get to discover him as not just some goofy dude who knows how to translate Russian and no conspiracy theories, but really he's like a lot more right than we thought, and he's the right guy for the job.
Yes.
And so boom. So if he ends up with Winona Ryder, we'll be like,
oh
no, Hop and Joyce for life. I got it tattooed on my arm.
We said, look, it was Hop and Joyce for life up to the end of season 3 too. But But if somehow it don't work out between those two, and my man Murray step up, we like, you know what, Murray, you earned that.
Yeah.
You did karate move and gave that dude work on a plane at 30,000 feet. Kept that
Murray.
sister alive.
Yeah.
Murray
Murray was a pleasant, was everything. I agree with both of your moments. First of all, I agree. And just for the sake of being different and adding a third moment to this, my favorite moment was when all of them had to work together to save Max. And just like Max going up and like them like going and saying, Nancy, 911, and Nancy and, you know, Maya Hawke's character figuring out what happened with Victor Creel and figuring out that music was the one thing that worked, and seeing, you know, Max go up in the air and the three of them. Yes, and then putting her favorite song in the headphones, and it was just classic Stranger Things where they all come together as a team and they save one another. And that's like, those are the moments I love the most. And I always say, like, I think it was in season 2 where they kind of broke them up, where it was like you had Mike and you had, you know, you had Mike and Will like in one spot, and then you had, you know, Steve Harrington and Dustin in another spot. And when you break them up, I always felt like it was like it broke what was so awesome about season 1, which is when those kids are together and they're working together and they're coming up with these ways of fighting this unimaginable enemy. You know, it just was so cool. So that scene with Max in the graveyard and the possession and them saving her and that was like, it was, and then it was like, that was everything. And I give a second shout out to that whole montage of the D&D game with the basketball game and like all of that playing simultaneously. Like, it was so amazing.
It was great. That was
I could go on and on.
It was a great show to really show that, you know, you can almost do both of these things. Like, they're equally important, they're equally exciting and entertaining and engaging. And so that's a beautiful thing. I got a quick suggestion for a lightning round, and then we can go. What's your song playing in your headset? What's your song that's on
the 80s?
Yes. Oh no, this is your song. What's just?
Well, I was gonna say we gotta be in Stranger Things. If we're in the 80s, it's a Michael Jackson song. It was like Michael Jackson, "Want to Be Starting Something." That's gonna save me from Vecna. You have to be the 80s. It's got to be an 80s song because we're talking Stranger Things. Yeah, we're gonna have the little tape headset. Come on, Hilton. What's your 80s song playing? It. What's gonna save you from Vecna?
You know what? You ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
It's the Jets. Rocket to You. Y'all don't know a damn thing about the Jets.
We know the Jets.
I'm telling you.
You found out. I got a crush on you.
Funky family right there, man. People slept on them.
No, we didn't sleep on the Jets. We did it in the black community. We knew. We knew about the Jets.
Hey, we claimed the Jets before we found out they was Hispanic. We were like, oh, they black enough.
They're Hawaiian. We're like, they're black.
We gonna take them.
They're brown. They're ours. They're ours. It was like Meghan Markle. She's ours. She's brown. Yeah. She's ours.
Brown enough.
Brown enough. Okay, Christi, what's your 80s song? And all of you in the chat, post what your 80s song would be. What would save you from Vecna? I know some of you were born in the 80s, but play along. You've been watching Stranger Things. You know your favorite.
Song that made you.
Yeah, your parents.
Anything by Prince. It just
okay.
By Prince. I mean, just pick one. You know what I mean? In the 80s, that was.
It would be Purple Rain. It would be. Yeah.
Let's Go Crazy, probably.
Let's Go Crazy.
Or Baby, I'm a Star. You know.
Oh, Baby, I'm a Star. Oh, that's one of my favorites.
That's my song. Like, I'm gonna perform.
Okay. So Baby, I'm a Star, Want to Be Starting Something, and the Jets. Okay, that's it. Guys, this has been so much fun. We are going to go live again next week. If you have not bought your tickets to BLERDCon, guys, Hilton George hosts one of the best Comic-Cons in the DC area. One of the best Comic-Cons, period. I've been a guest. It is just amazing. It is next week. Hilton, give them all the information. So if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, or if you just want to take a road trip, take a road trip. Come on
3
up.
days, 24 hours of programming. We're at the Hyatt Crystal City in Arlington, Virginia. We got Orlando Jones as our signature guest. He's going to be doing some Dr. Lee conducting of an HBCU band as
I
part
am
of the performance.
dying that I'm not
It's going to be
there.
off the hook. You got to definitely come on out and check us out. We'd love to see you. Say you know me from the BOP, and we'll bop hands or something. We'll figure something out. It'll be a bop or bop. We'll figure something out.
Get your tickets at www.blerdcon.com. Get them. Guys, we are the BOP, the BLERD official podcast. Please tune in next time. We've got some funny stuff. Next week, we're going to be talking. What were we going to be talking about? I forgot. Well, we're going to have a great episode. We have something amazing planned for you for next week. Oh, we're going to talk Obi-Wan Kenobi. So tune in next week for Obi-Wan Kenobi because we're going to break that series down. Oh, guys.
If you read books.
Yes, read books, register to vote, and watch the trial. Have a great weekend. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode of the BOP, the BLERD official podcast.